Good news, everybody! I have cereal, so I don't get to die of starvation. Let's continue. Ooh, it's nighttime. Look at that moon. Look at that moon. Lupin would be proud. Almost walked off the cliff.
I sat here and watched two jets carve parallel white lines into the sky. They charted their course, and I followed them for 21 minutes until they turned off near Sanford and were lost. If I were a gull, I would abandon my nest and join them. I would starve my brain of oxygen and suffer delusions of transcendence. I would tear the bottom from my boat and sail across the motorways until I reached this island once again.
The little poetic, wording in this game is so hard for me to comprehend, but I'm kind of getting it, I think. Again, that hole in the bottom of the ship thing, that's obviously, not... He doesn't mean that literally, but I'm wondering what the fuck he means by that. Because that's not the first time that that's showed up in a sentence. Not by far. Was I? Oh, it's right there. I think I am aiming for there. Music is just beautiful in this game.
We shall begin to assemble our own version of the North Shore. We will scrawl in dead languages and electrical diagrams and hide them away for future theologians to muse and mumble over. We will send a letter to Esther Donnelly and demand her answer. We will mix the paint with ashes and tarmac and the glow from our infections. We will paint a moon over the Sanford Junction and blue lights falling like stars along the hard shoulder.
It's weird, the tone's almost happy right now. Maybe because it's the last chapter or something. I'm assuming that those are chapter changes. Which would make this the fourth one. And the fourth is the last one. I also assume I should be following these candles. I thought you were gonna say something, guy. Don't disappoint me, yo!
There were chemical diagrams on the mug he gave me coffee in, sticky at the handle where his hands shook. He worked for a pharmaceutical company with an office based on the outskirts of Wolverhampton.
Umbrella.
He'd been travelling back from a sales conference in Exeter, forming a strategic vision for the peddling of antacid yogurt to the European market. You could trace the connections with your finger, join the dots, and whole new compounds would be summoned into activity.
So apparently Umbrella was involved with this island. Just saying. He's talking about an infection, and then he's talking about a pharmaceutical company right afterwards. Coincidence? I think not. No.
From here, I can see my armada. I collected all
the
letters I'd ever meant to send to you, if I'd have ever made it to the mainland, but had instead collected at the bottom of my rucksack, and I spread them out along the lost beach. Then I took each and every one, and I folded them into boats. I folded you into the creases, and then, as the sun was setting, I set the fleet to sail. Shattered into 21 pieces, I consigned you to the Atlantic. And I sat here until I'd watched all of you sink.
That's depressing. That's very depressing. On a sudden, a light from heaven shone around him, and he fell to the ground. That's really depressing, actually. Yeah, that looks like it's actually rendered, so I think that's where I'm going, and I think the game ends there. My theory, anyway. More cereal. Cereal's gonna be like my favorite food on the planet. Oh my god. Mm.
A sound of torn metal, teeth running over the edge of the rocks, a moon that casts a signal. As I lay pinned beside you, the ticking of the cooling engine, and the calling from a great height, all my mind as a bypass.
I'm getting to that area where I don't know where to go again. I'm assuming where this game starts was not when this guy was first on the island. Is that a person? What the fuck? I wasn't expecting that. That's a fucking person standing over there. I don't think I can get up right here. Watch, they'll not be there when I walk around now. And I'm hearing voices now, so it's probably a siren, so I might be dying in a minute, folks.
My voyage in a paper boat without a bottom. I will fly to the moon in it. I've been folded along a crease in time, a weakness in the sheet of life. Now you've settled on the opposite side of the paper to me. I can see your traces in the ink that soaks through the fiber, the pulped vegetation. When we become waterlogged and the cage disintegrates, we will intermingle. When this paper aeroplane leaves the cliff edge and carves parallel vapor trails in the dark, we will come together.
Oh, it's creepy. I'm gonna start to see.
This game's something. Oh, wait. And he was proceeding on his journey. Some more, cliches with horror genre, usually. Wording for random cryptic messages all over the place. Supposed to make you think something. Most of the time they really don't have any importance. I'm gonna be really upset if this game has some super cryptic meaning that I don't understand at the end of it, because I'm not good with those. And was come near to damn something. To damnation.
If only Donnelly had experienced this, he would have realized he was his own shoreline, as am I. Just as I am becoming this island, so he became his syphilis, retreating into the burning synapses, the stones, the infection.
And what's all this talk about fucking syphilis, for God's sake? Jesus Christ, man. I forgot about that until now.
Bent
Like-
back like a nail, like a hangnail, like a drowning man clung onto the wheel, drunk and spiraled, washed onto the lost shore under a moon as fractured as a shattered wing. We cleave, we are flight and suspended, these wretched painkillers, this form inconstant. I will take flight, I will take flight.
I'm so lost with this game even still. So lost. And I don't get a feeling it's going to explain all of the things that you don't understand in this game all in one go right at the end. I'm going to still be lost at the end of this. I don't even know. All I know is just... I'm using that for the thumbnail. Right there.
A gull perched on a spent bonnet, sideways, whilst the sirens fell through the middle distance and the metal moaned in grief about us. I'm about this night in walking, old bread and gull bones, old Donnelly at the bar gripping his drink, old Esther walking with our children, old Paul as ever, old Paul. He shakes and he shivers and he turns off his lights alone.
It's getting intense. Let me take that one too, because I'm gonna have trouble deciding this.
I am the Ariel. In my passing, I will send news to each and every star. Dear Esther, I have burnt my belongings, my books, this death certificate. Mine will be written all across this island. Who was Jakobsen? Who remembers him? Donnelly has written of him, but who was Donnelly? Who remembers him? I have painted, carved, hewn, scored into this space all that I could draw from him. There will be another to these shores to remember me. I will rise from the ocean like an island without bottom, come together like a stone, become an Ariel, a beacon, that they will not forget you. You have always been drawn here. One day the gulls will return and nest in our bones and our history. I will look to my left and see Esther Donnelly flying beside me. I will look to my right and see Paul Jakobsen flying beside me. They will leave white lines carved into the air to reach the mainland, where help will be sent.
Esther Donnelly and Paul Jakobsen. That's his name and her name. think I need to go through this game again and remember everything that he said about Donnelly and Paul. Because that's their story, I think. I think I'm just gonna Google it. Fuck going through this all over again.
Come back.
Is it supposed to be doing something, or...? Okay. Seriously, was that it? Hang on, folks. Alright, so, yeah, guys, that was the ending to Dear Esther right there. I was looking it up and everything. Everybody got, like, the same thing. Like, it's just... I guess it's supposed to do that, but... yeah. That's Dear Esther. And... yeah, there's a lot of theories that I had seen about that game. I was reading a couple of things about how everybody thought that it was actually Esther that was walking around right there, and it was supposed to be she was in like a comatose state, probably brought on from like a car accident. And you notice when you hear like everything that the narrator is her husband, every time that you hear it, it's almost like it's not really so much that he's like talking to himself, though. When you really think about it, it kind of almost sounds like he is talking to somebody, like at their bedside, more or less, and it does make sense to me in that way. So I don't know. That was definitely a really cryptic game. It wasn't really a bad one though. Like that was an interesting experience. I can definitely say that. But that's gonna be it for now, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and edit the first video, and I'm gonna put that up for you guys like pronto, because that was just phenomenal. Phenomenal. Boring, but phenomenal. So, yeah, I'm going to move over to that now, guys. So, take it easy, and, well, let me know what you thought about, like, the whole face cam thing. Like, I'm wondering if I should stick with doing a face cam or not, but I don't know. We'll figure it out later on, so bye-bye, guys. Hey guys, and I realized that at the end of my Dear Esther Let's Play, I actually never even did my whole, like, 2 cents thing that I like to do with games that I've never played before, so I'm just gonna go ahead and insert that right now because I'm really, really bored, and because I feel that that's something that's gonna be needed to be added into it anyway. I don't think I did enough on a decent enough note, but anyways, so overall of the game, I've already gone over it. You know, it was a pretty decent experience, even though it was very boring, I guess. So there's obviously that, and I guess we'll move right over to like the pros and cons of the game, really. Pros, beautiful environment, absolutely fantastically beautiful environment. Everything about it, it was definitely crazy. Especially, like I said plenty of times in the past, that's Source too. That was off of the Source engine, and I still, even at this point, can't really believe that, even slightly. Yeah, I'm not wearing my hat right now, by the way. I didn't care, so, yeah. But yeah, that was like the Source engine. Unbelievable how what you can do with an engine to try to, just make it that much prettier if you put enough work into the graphics for it. It's just, there was a lot of immersion there, really. It was kind of just like a real, I think it was like a weird, like, dream walk kind of coma thing. This is what the point of that game was, really. I don't think it was meant for you to completely understand it, really, anyway. There's too many people who try to crack that game where it just kind of ruined the experience altogether by doing it, but hey, what are you gonna do? Other pros of the game, really. It was definitely, like, the storyline was enough to make you want to go further into it, even though it never really revealed that much, I guess. But it was enough to get you really into the game. Like, the person who made that game was very good at immersion, definitely. A lot more immersion than a lot of games that I usually play. But it was good that way, because as boring as the game was, it was incredibly, incredibly boring. Not gonna lie, walking around hoping to hear him talk about something that hopefully reveals something in the storyline was unbelievably boring to me. I hate that kind of crap in games. But I guess, whatever. Like I said, it was just meant to go just try it out and see what happens anyway, so, and it was a decent enough experience, I guess. I mean, whatever. Not exactly something that I would normally play. I probably won't do that again, but hey, whatever. That's basically all I can come up with pros, really, which leads into the cons, anyway, which, first thing, boring, really. Like, the gameplay to that game, I'm not gonna lie, it was sucky. The gameplay was absolutely terrible. It just walk around aimlessly, like, just to find... The game was, another con that it'll lead over to from that is, the game was overly cryptic, I think. Unless I'm just really not good at that, even remotely. Like, I can usually pick up some kind of things that are insinuated in a game, and you can totally, with every one of my recordings up to this point, really, with this new setup right here, you can totally hear other people playing games in the background. Anyways, but it was almost too cryptic to really pick up anything that was insinuated, at least that I got out of it. There wasn't enough to derive a real meaning from it, which kind of, I don't know, it ruins the overall quality of the game to some extent to me. I mean, if you're going to do something like that, it usually works a little better for somebody if, like, I don't know, I understand the art behind video games, I do, but a lot of times I think people try too hard to try to come up with something really interesting for a storyline, and then it's just something that you would never in 1,000 years come up with unless you tried too hard to just think about it for the next 3 days and come up with all the little itsy-bitsy hints throughout the game. Oh, well, she's in a hospital. Because I would have never picked that up. From, like, towards the end, I'll probably insert a picture right here, but yeah, it was, towards the end, there was a, right here. Yeah, there's like a briefcase that has like a syringe kit or something like that in there, if I remember correctly, like forceps and other hospital equipment that people found were, okay, well, that's a hint that she's like comatose in a hospital or something. And I'm only thinking, like, how did you pull that out of that? But whatever, hey, they're a lot more susceptible to details than I am, that's for sure. But I'm not really going to rip the game apart, really, because it really wasn't that bad. It was, like, the soundtrack was fantastic, and it was still overall a decent enough experience, so whatever. Conclusion of the game, very boring. I probably will never do another walking sim game like that ever again, but it was a decent, like, just filler thing to throw in there. I was hoping it was a little longer. I'm kind of glad that it actually wasn't, now that I've done it, but hey, it happens. So, yeah, this is going to be about the point where I put my outro in, guys, so I need to go and find a song for that. But, yeah, I hope you enjoyed that to some extent. I don't know, but, yeah, see me in the next video. I have The Evil Within going up right now. I'm going to try to get some more of those going, too. I have a few videos that I have not uploaded yet with them that I am going to be working on real soon, but, yeah, I'm going to do that and probably another, like, I've been thinking of a couple other ideas, but I'm not going to say right at the moment, because when I put it up, it'll be fantastic. Hopefully. But yeah, so I will catch you guys later. Stuff.